Good morning, Flosstube. My name's Laura, aka the Gin Stitcher, here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It is Wednesday the 29th of March, about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm not really with it yet, and I don't start work for another hour. So I thought I'd sneak in and do a bit of filming. I have been trying to do this for about 10 days now, but I've not been very well. And quite frankly, my stitchy bug wandered off somewhere to the Far East where it could drink mojitos in the pool, in the sunshine, because I've had enough of winter. But I have done a bit of stitching, and it's been a bit of a hot minute since I saw you last, so I thought I'd sneak in with a video and show you what I've been doing. I have worked on quite a lot of different projects. It feels like I haven't got a lot of progress on any of them, and I think that was again to do with the fact I wasn't feeling very well. I was getting something out, putting it on the Q-snap, putting 20 stitches in and going, next. So I have been on 2 retreats since I last saw you. I've been on the Yorkshire retreat, which was at the start of March, just after my last video. I think I took 12 projects. I worked on about 3 of them. Hey ho. But I was very good. They stayed in the car, and they only came out of the car if I was going to work on them, and the one I'd finished with went back in the car. So I didn't end up with a mountain of stuff in the hotel room, which is what normally happens. But what did I work on at that retreat? I did work on my Gothic ornaments. I call them Gothic tiles because they're that sort of size. And I think the official name is Gothic ornaments. I'm doing this on 32 count Zweigart black. It is a linen. And what did I do on that particular weekend? I managed to make this one go all the way around. And it matches up. So we're getting there a little bit now on the basic framework. I'll show you the whole thing. You see, we've got 2 full circles. The centre, as I've said before, is not going any further yet. And then we've started on the 3rd one. The 4th one was the one that I did wrong, thought I did wrong, frogged, thought I did wrong, thought I did right, turned out I was right the first time, frogged it again. I'm still grumbling about that one. So that is where we're at with that one. We're starting to see just how big it's really going to be now. So that is how tall it's going to be, and it'll be the same width. As you can see, I've not got a huge margin, particularly with the selvage edge at that side, but it should be fine. How I'm going to frame it, not even thought about it. There is bling on this, but not massive amounts of bling. I'm probably going to add more bling. I've got all the gaps in between, and now we're starting to see how big those gaps actually are. That is just plain fabric, all here and in here. So I may put some bling in there yet, but that will be a long way in the future. I will have a lot more grey hairs by then, I suspect. So that's where we're at on that one. I worked on that for about an afternoon. I didn't do huge amounts on it, but I felt like I'd reached a nice milestone once I'd got that all the way around and it matched up. So I was happy to put that one away for a bit. It is a summer stitch. With it being on the black, it really cries out for natural daylight. And working on it in the winter is not that easy, but it does come out in the summer, and I work on it a lot in the summer. Okay, next one then I worked on at the Yorkshire retreat, get it the right way up, is Poison Garden. So this one is here. There is a bit more on the bars. It's still on the bars because I'm sort of still working on it. I have gone a bit further on the way around. What I've started to do is put these flowers in here and here, so that I can make sure that this line is in the right place, because I frogged it once already because I can't count to 15 apparently. That's where we're at on that one. It's coming along nicely. I am working my way to the top, and then I'll work my way back down, beading as I go. And this is on Supernova 32 count even weave from Sparklies. It's a lot more purple in real life. It's coming out grey on there. It's a lot more purple in real life, and I'm really enjoying this. That's why it's still on the bath. It also helps that once you've started a row, the way it is at the moment, I don't actually need to chart, because I know that that line is going to go all the way down there, and I can just keep going. And it's in Petite Treasure Braid or Silk Lame, which is a flat colour, so I can just literally go ding 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 all the way down. I don't have to do individual stitches or worry about blending or anything yet. There is a lot of 1 over 1 in the middle. Not even thought about that yet. Okay, what else have I worked on? My Mirabilia. Mermaid Undine. She is a very, very blingy mermaid. She's not particularly enormous. She is 240 by 134 stitches. So it says 15 by 9 inches on 16 count. So she's going to be slightly bigger on mine because I think this is 28 count. This is a Coffee Craft Fabrics Fabric of the Month from Your Guess Is As Good As Mine. I'm going the right way up. We have hair. I did get a bit bored of the brown. I was stitching on this till I felt unwell a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, I can't do any more brown. I'm done. And actually, in all seriousness, there's some more brown to go in up here, but then this is her crown. So this is all water lilies and beads anyway. And then I was like, oh, go down to start on the skin, only to find out I didn't have that colour. Hey ho! So shopping is going to be required because I need some DMC. But that's where we're at on her. I haven't worked on her for a week or so now. She is going to the Mirabilia retreat in April, simply because she's a Mirabilia. And I've only got, somebody texted me the other day and said, what Mirabilias are we taking? And I just replied, all of them, because I've only got 3 whips. 3 Mirabilia whips? Yes, 3. So I may as well just take them all. Okay, so she's easy. She's actually stitching up really quickly. Once I'd got her right anyway and unfrogged all the, because invariably the first 4 lengths I put in, I unfrogged 3 of them, because something's gone wonky somewhere. I'm looking forward to starting on her tail, because she's loads of water lilies, loads of bling, she's going to just like, that's why she's not on an opal fabric, because she's really quite in your face. Okay, what else have I worked on? This one I've not worked on for a while. Pandemic. This is a 28 count even weave from Pole Stitches. When it was dyed, it's supposed to be that way up because it's an earth to sky kind of colour blend of green and then blue. I went, sod that, I'm going to stand out and be different. So I'm working on it this way up, and that is where we're at. Basically, since you last saw it, I have finished off this motif here. I've put all of this ladder in down here and this bit in here, and I've gone along a bit as well. So it's progressing, but I am stitching it 1 over 1 full cross, so it is very small, but it does have the benefit at present at least of all being one colour. So I can stitch this when I'm on those mindless Zoom meetings at work where I just have to listen and occasionally give answers to questions, but don't really have to interact and definitely don't have to make notes. Very useful. So that's Pandemic. I've put about, I don't know, because this was when I lost, actually, when I lost my laptop, when my laptop had to be reset, and I lost all my Pattern Keeper progress, so I don't actually know. It's a bit misleading on the Pattern Keeper where it is at the minute because I haven't got that far. Okay, where are we up to? Let's ignore that one. Okay, this is another retreat project. This is my drawn thread. I'm doing this as a sal with Charlotte, stitching with the kids around. And we have made a sort of pact to only stitch on it at retreats. I'm looking for the front page. And we're trying to finish it at the same time. So if one of us gets ahead, we'll stop and let the other one catch up. That's not what I was looking for. Anyway, so it's called A Sampler of Stitches by Drawn Thread. It's an ABC, but what it has in it with those ABCs is under each letter is the different stitches. I once again can't find the cover page. Anyway, I managed to take this on the Yorkshire retreat and I started it again because I had started it originally in the middle. I've moved it over to the left hand side when I realised how narrow it was actually going to be, because I could chop this piece of fabric in half and use it for something else. So that's where we're at so far. That was what I did at the Yorkshire retreat, which is eyelets. And then I took it to the Newcastle Northeast Stitches retreat that I was at this weekend, only to realise I'd taken the fabric, but not taken the chart and not taken any extra silks. So I happened to have a piece of thread started on this box, which meant I could finish the box off at the retreat. That's as far as I've got. 26 letters. It's going to take a while. But we're fine with that. The main thing for us is that we are working on it together, and we're going to finish it together. And that's the most important part for us. So we just do a little bit each time. Might only do an hour. But it's to say that we've taken it to every retreat we've been to, and we've worked on it at every retreat we've been to. And that's the main thing for us. I'm going to less retreats in 2024. That decision has already been made. It's entirely financial. The retreats are getting very expensive, and I think I'm booked on 9 this year, so you can imagine how much that's costing. They are lovely here in the UK. They're fully catered from Friday dinner time through to Sunday lunchtime, so you get all your teas, all your coffees, cakes, all your meals, your hotel room and the stitchy room for those 2.5 days. But you pay a price for that, so I'm having to make some serious decisions about which ones I go to and which ones I don't go to next year. We want to go to Canada to see my sister. That comes with a 4-figure bill, so something has to give somewhere. But for 2023 there are still lots of retreats in the calendar. Okay, so that was what I stitched on over the retreats, or over the Yorkshire retreat mainly, and up to last week. Then last weekend, quite frankly, not this one just gone, the 26th, but the 19th and 20th, quite frankly, I felt like somebody had tried to kill me. And I'm looking at that mermaid going, nope, don't want to stitch brown. Don't want to stitch brown. Couldn't be bothered. Wasn't interested. Just wanted to sit and stitch until I felt better. So I went and fished this one out. Got it on the Q-snap. I quite literally put 20 stitches in down here. This is Dimensions Midnight Dancers. Stitched on 16 count Ada that came with the kit. And then I went, not feeling this at all. At all. So I put it away. What was I feeling? What was I feeling? I don't know what I was feeling. That one went away. And I got something else out. And I literally spent all weekend just fishing things out. I got this one out. This one is called Once Upon a Time from Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a quick stitch taken from one of the bookshelves. And it is the book. This is in the very bottom corner of one of the designs. And there we go. And it says on it, once upon a time there was a girl who loved to read. And I was really enjoying this until my pattern keeper, my laptop died and I lost all my progress. It is a max colour, and I was stitching it on a colour completing basis, so you can't, there's lots and lots of stitches on there that you can't really see. Again, one over one full cross on 32 count for this one. I started it before I discovered the 10th stitch. And for what I've decided is those that are already started, I'm going to continue. Those that are new starts, I've switched completely to 2 over 1/10. So what I did was I stuck it in the Q-snap and decided I was going to try and start in the bottom right hand corner, as I've discovered that that's what works for me. It's max colour. Need I say more? Also, I've lost my progress. So there's loads of stitching on here that is not crossed off on my pattern keeper. So a decision has been made. It's going to go back on the Millennium frame. I'm going to try and work out what's stitched and what's not stitched. And then I'm going to go back to colour completing, at least for a while. There's an awful lot of colours that have got less than 100 stitches. And so there's quite a few that have got less than 20 stitches. So my thought process is to get rid of a lot of that, and then we'll go back to diagonal stitching. Because a lot of the big colours are the pale colours that make up the book. So that's where we're on that. To give you a sort of idea, when I kitted it up, it needed not one floss ring, but 2. And there's still more floss in the bag, which is everything that needed a whole skein, or more than a skein, because I couldn't be bothered. They were bobbinated. I was like, yeah, they can stay on the bobbin. I'm going to use most of the skein. So that was kind of where we were at on that one. So you can sort of see, I mean, it looks going to be amazing, but just look at all those colours. So yeah, so objective 1, get that back on the bars, get it back on the Millennium, so that I can see the whole design in one place, and then I will sort it out from there, and we'll go from there. That's a weekend job. It's not a Tuesday morning job. Okay, once I decided that that wasn't working for me either, I had a new start, because quite frankly that was the only thing that was sorting me out. 1 second. Hold please. I'm thinking this is not going to be a long video. So just for the purposes of this, because you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, this is Once Upon a Time. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, not great. There we go. A little bit of glare. That's better. Let's see if I can just turn the brightness up on this. This is my Chromebook. This is what I have my pattern keeper on. There we go. So, once upon a time, in a kingdom filled with enchanted books, there was a girl who loved to read, and that is me. If I don't want to stitch and I don't want to talk to anybody, that's what I do. So, it is a segment out of a bigger chart, but that's fine, because that was the bit I wanted to stitch. Okay, new start then. This one is called The Phoenix. It's Heaven and Earth again, artwork by Penny Gorledge. It's quite an old chart this, it's 2008. Oh, it looks like that. That's better. So I started it. I've started in this corner down here. 2 over 1/10. And I took this to the Northeast Stitches retreat. They all thought it was hilarious. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That is 310. Here, this little notch, there's going to be a different colour in there. Don't get too excited. 3371. Nice dark brown in there. So that's where we're at. We have done, for those of you who are into this sort of thing, 3,127 stitches, which equates to 2.72%. All black. But you know what? On retreat, this was the stitch. This was the stitch. No counting. I literally had to count the bottom row to get my 20. And then I just went up. I could chat. I could ignore people. I could do as I pleased. I could get up, wander around, not lose my place. And that's what we've done. That's a week's work. Don't get me wrong, when we started in colour, it will slow down. 32 count, easy count, 2 over 1/10 stitch. And as you can see, I mean, I'm holding this literally 3 inches from the camera, and the coverage is amazing. There is no, people have asked me why I'm not stitching it on black. I get coverage like that, just stitch it, it's fine. So that's my Phoenix. Next time you see that, there will be some colour on it, I promise. Okay, last whip, I forgot to get this one out. So I worked on this one. I haven't worked on this for a few weeks. I'm just trying to find the front and the back. That is the front. So you'll remember this is the one that I was gifting to a friend. It's my pussycat called Warm at Home. And that friend has irritated me to no end. That hasn't changed. So I haven't decided what I'm doing with this yet. Whether I'm going to finish it, whether I'm going to keep it, whether I'm going to gift it away anyway. Just to show there's no hard feelings. But that person had upset me so much. I had been working away quite happily in this bottom corner, doing my bottom right hand corner diagonals, and it was working really well, as you can see. This is all, you can see the fur coming in now, the long strands of fur. I decided that the easiest way to deal with this was to pretend it was a new start and go to the other corner. Those threads are basically all scrap threads. They're waiting to be woven in, and then they'll be cut off. There's nothing officially parked. So that's where we got to on that one. We did that top corner. That next diagonal is a mixture of 3799 and 310, and that's all that's left to go in that diagonal. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I will probably pick this up again. I think my gut feeling is to finish it because I love it and to keep it. It's not going to be enormous. That is it. That's 3 of the 4 corners. And again, this one, because I had a restart on it, it's on 32 count, 2 over 1/10 stitch. And that is it. So in some ways, the advantage of starting in the 3 corners, and I'll probably start in the 4th corner as well, is that I'm doing all the background, i.e. all the boring bits, before I move on to the actual pussycat that makes up the scenery. Which is good, because one of the things about diagonal stitching or royal rows or any of those things that worried me is that you do a load of background at the top or in the corner, and then you do the design, and then you've got a whole section down here or at the bottom that's just background again. And that's not my bag. It would never get finished if I did it like that. Okay, I also had 2 more new starts. Now one of these at least has been on my Instagram. So I started this one. It's called a Mill Hill Stitched and Beaded Tassel Ornament. So you stitch it on perforated paper in the flat, and then you fold it all up and stitch it together and make an ornament. The reason I own these is entirely Aileen's fault. She has them done, and they are beautiful. So there's a green one, it's called Willow, and there's a orchid one, which is purple. And I have started both of these. And then I discovered that beading them is going to take years. She says. I'm just looking for the other one. It's not in here. What have I done with it? Okay, the green one is missing in action. That's not a good start. But this is the purple one. So that is where we've got to so far. All the purple is stitched. There's no more purple stitching to do. This blue stitching that makes up the centres, and you obviously need to do all the others. And then I've started beading it in this bottom corner, and it is intense. There are bugles, there are big beads, there are little beads. Yeah. It's going to take a while. That took me the better part of an hour, I think, to put those few beads in. It doesn't help that literally they alternate. One bead this colour, one bead that colour, the next bead another colour. I didn't... Oh, it's there. I'm going to apologise because I'm going to crinkle. So the green one, going the way around, I've stitched the DMC. I haven't started beading it yet. That was as far as I got with that one. I am remembering now why I've swapped a lot of my other button and beads ones onto fabric, because perforated paper is not my thing. However, it's essential in this one because we're going to change that from flat to square. So each one of those panels is a side, and then the top you make into triangles and you fold it in and make a top. So we don't have any choice because fabric wouldn't hold up to doing that process. So I'm going to persevere and get those done, and then, I don't know, I hang them up from my windows here where I work so I can see them when I'm working. Come back in a year. I'm a realist on how long it takes me to bead anything. Okay, so that was all my stitching. That didn't take very long, did it? That was good. Okay, a little bit of shopping. I've not done much shopping. The husband has broken his car. Whilst it is technically still on the road, we've done all the essential work that made it road legal again. It still needs about another £1,000 spending on it. So my shopping habits have been curtailed somewhat for a couple of months while we get it all sorted and paid for. So this is my fabric of the month that came from Kate. Oh goodness me, that looks yellow. I promise you it's not. It's a mixture of yellow and green. It's a very spring colour. Even though it's described as the November fabric of the month. It's a fat quarter, 32 count opal even weave. I'm still debating changing to linen, but I find because the colours are stronger, you get a stronger dye on the colour. But at the same time, I like the versatility of even weave. So that is that one. It's a sort of greeny yellow colour. God only knows what I'm going to stitch on that. Okay, my other subscription that I have retained, I've cancelled a couple. The other one subscription that I've maintained is my Silks for You, coming from Australia. I've got 3 to show you today. So this one is December 2022, because I don't think I showed this in the last video. So that's a purple, a red, and a variegated and a very full colour, which I absolutely love. So that's that one. You get 4 15-metre skeins for $21 US, including shipping. So that's quite good. As long as you pay it by the 15th of the month, it'll come the following month for you. So that's quite good. And then January's a bit more of pastely season. 2 pinks, 2 oranges, 2 fairly solid, 2 fairly variegated. These are all. The scheme that I'm in is the one where you get the colours from the range, or created colours from the range. So in theory, you can go into the website and say, I really like that colour. I want a hank of it. The other scheme that she does is the colour of the month, which is a variegated scale of skeins, but they are not in the standard range. So if you wanted more, you wouldn't be able to get them. I suspect you'd be able to do them, but they're not in the standard ordering list. And this is February's, and I absolutely love these colours. So there's 2 teals and 2 a wine and a purpley variegated colour, which is absolutely amazing. And it is a wine pink, not a girly pink. But this one is probably my favourite colour of any that I've received in the last year. I've been in this scheme for about 3 years now, I think. And I'll be honest, I haven't used a huge amount of them. I am finally starting to think about substituting in the Silks for You for other things. My New Year's Eve fairy, the Mirabilia / Nora Corbett that I've done, that's been entirely changed, has given me a lot more confidence on how to do that. So, and the fact that I can make decisions on colour. I've never considered myself particularly artistic, so it's nice to see something that I've done that's worked. That's given me a bit of confidence. Okay, so I didn't buy anything at the Yorkshire retreat apart from my needle minder, which is on a project somewhere. But at the Newcastle retreat, I was gifted a couple of Texture Treasures patterns. This is a lady called Karen Dozinski. She's in Canada, and this one is called Cape Breton Christmas. It's all Celtic knots, and a lot of it's stitching, but there will be some speciality stitches in there because that's what she does. And it's just the chart. And then this one is called Celtic Millennia, and that's what that looks like. So Celtic knot work with a cross in the centre, and again there's a lot of crosses, satin stitch, things like that in it. And then last but not least, I bought this off Aileen. I need to send her the money. It's a Halloween trick or treat, it's called, which I quite liked. Different. I need to send her the money. Again, just the chart, not a full kit. So that's fine, doesn't bother me. And it seems to be charted in DMC. Although looking at the kit list, you'd think small chart, really long kit list. But hey ho, that's the way we work. Okay, that is me. I am feeling a lot better. Work has been hard, training new starters, that's leaving me a bit worn out at night. So we'll just have to see how it goes over the next couple of weeks, see how much stitching I actually do. Probably some more 310 on my Phoenix. Probably try and get my Pussycat, another diagonal done on my Pussycat. Other than that, I don't know. I'm going to Mirabilia in 3 weeks' time, so I'll definitely work on a Mirabilia and try and get another video in before I go. But I don't know, because it's the same weekend as Eid. I am at work Thursday and Friday, even though I'm also at retreat, so I'm going to sat in a hotel room working. So we'll just have to see how it goes and whether I can get something filmed before I actually travel down on the Wednesday night. All right, stay safe. Love to you all. See you soon, and contact me if you need me.